Hello and welcome back to New Comic Book Day here at Comic Vantage. So today's the day I pick out some good books to read and I come back and I give you giant spoiler-filled reviews. So it's actually a really good week for indie books this week. I was really excited. So anyway, these are the books that are releasing December 5th of 2018. So let's get started. Like always, there can and will be spoilers. If you don't want spoilers, back out now, come back later. Or you can use the nifty timestamps down in the description. All right, now let's get started. Our first book this week, we have Crowded, issue number 5 from Image Comics. Now, if you've been following this book, you know this is a lot of fun. It's a great story. It's already been optioned. So now what we got going on here is we have our hero. She's actually right here on the front. This is our bodyguard, Vita, and she is protecting this really sad girl here named Charlie. Now, Charlie is not a very nice person, so there is a Kickstarter campaign, which they call a Reaper campaign, to murder her. It is now well over $2 million. That is just insane. Whoever kills this girl gets $2 million. When last we left Charlie, she was at a strip club hanging out, and the bride-to-be, who was at a strip club because she kind of crashed a bridal party, wedding shower, or the bachelorette party. There you go. There's the words for it. Remembered who she was, and she wants to finance her wedding. So that's what this is all about here, that she can't afford it. And she's like, well, hey, now I can do that. But she's a good person, decides not to. Now, what's really neat about this story is, you have this whole dynamic where the entire thing is tons of action. They're being hunted down this entire time. You have Vita and you have Charlie, who have a very dysfunctional relationship because Vita is very hard ass, where Charlie is kind of go-lucky and pretty much out for herself. But when you start really reading the story, you start really diving deep into these characters' psyches, into their personalities. This here is good old Trotter. He is one of the I guess he's almost like a superstar assassin who takes out a lot of these big bounties. And this is his first kill here, and he cried when he did it. It's really amazing when they start really digging into these character backgrounds. And we keep seeing this woman here, and we have no idea who she is. They haven't named her yet, but apparently she is going to be someone dangerous because she is buying guns. So, Charlie, Vita, on the run. And Trotter has this whole thing set up with his fans where he's going to televise this assassination of this poor girl. And you can purchase a VIP experience where he sends these little smart cars to pick you up and you become part of the action. So these little smart cars surround Vita and Charlie, and he's using them to kind of herd them to where he wants them at to end up killing them. It's a lot of fun. This is a great story. I'm having a good time with it. I can really see this translating well to film or even to a TV series. I think it's going to have a lot of good humor to it. And surprisingly, like I said, it's got really in-depth characterization, which is awesome. I love that in a story. So this is a huge thumbs up for me. And that is Crowded, issue number 5. And next book this week from DC Comics, we have Doomsday Clock, and this is issue number 8. This is long awaited. Now, really, this series is supposed to be done by now. We were supposed to get an issue a month for 12 months, and this whole series is supposed to take place 1 year in the future, and it's supposed to have caught up by now, and apparently it just isn't. I love this little Dr. Manhattan and Superman marionette sort of thing going on here. Really cute. So this was a little slow going for me. This was this was kind of a hard read this month. We have Clark and we have Lois and we have this whole Superman theory where the government is creating these superhumans, these metahumans to form their own army. The Russian government has declared war and they want their own army. Firestorm here shows up in Russia to try to defend these metahumans. There's government testing immediately as newborns and children are being taken away. And he's going to try to protect these people. Of course, they say this is a declaration of war. It was, like I said, there was a lot of stuff here. I'm reading this and I'm like, why is this even in here? We have Superman meeting up with Black Adam, where he started this whole sanctuary state for metahumans. He's hoping that Firestorm is there because Firestorm ran away after he attacked these people, but he really didn't attack. His power just kind of went haywire. And once Superman does catch up with him, he's always said how he's been able to transmute inorganic matter to something else, but he's never been able to do it to organic material. But now he can, where he turned this whole entire group of people into glass. He doesn't know how he did it, but Superman kind of talks him through it. You know, his old Boy Scout, hey, I'm your cheerleader, you can do this. And he changes the boy back to a human. It's a real boy. So again, I'm sitting here and I'm like, you know, what is going on? Superman goes to Russia to try to smooth things over and ends up making it totally worse. Batman is talking to him and he's like, Clark, don't do this. Get out of there. Do not pick a side. And Superman inadvertently sides with the metahumans during this whole thing. So that was really cool. I liked that. So like I said, the whole beginning of this book, I was kind of like, well, what is happening here? By the time we get to the end, Batman is telling him to get the hell out of there, that this is not Firestorm, and then all of a sudden we have this giant, white-hot, almost nuclear explosion that happens. And then we have Ozymandias down here saying it begins. So it's almost like he orchestrated this whole thing, which was really kind of cool. Slow read, but it was worth it to stick out to the end. Like I said, I'm still a little disappointed, though, that the series isn't finished. I was expecting a conclusion by now, which just is not happening. But still, you know, thumbs up from me. Next on our list, from Black Crown / IDW, we have Lodger #2. Now, this book is brought to you by the Laphams, David and Maria Lapham, the brains and geniuses behind Stray Bullets. Stray Bullets is probably one of the greatest black and white series to ever grace the printed page. If you haven't read Stray Bullets, go pick them up. You can grab tons of trades or pick them up at Image Comics. They're really good. This is really no different. This is a lot of fun. I mean, they know crime stories, which is really cool. So what we have here is we have our serial killer. Yes, serial killer. His name is Dante. And we have this young girl named Ricky Toledo. When she was 15, he rolled through her town. Now, he calls himself the Lodger because he posts to a travel blog where he travels around. And he writes about different experiences while traveling. Now, what he doesn't tell you is that he commits these murders while he goes, and he does little hunts and clues. So we dig back several years back. When she was 15 years old, he rolls into Elroy, Arizona, and rents a room from her parents in the back of their house, where he kind of ingratiates itself into the family, and you can tell he has like little sociopathic tendencies right away because of the way he manipulates her father right off the bat. It's a hot, sweltering day. Her dad, he's injured. He hasn't been able to work for 2 years. That's kind of grating on his manhood. He wanted this room for his workshop to build guns, and no, his wife is like, we need the money, we need to rent it out. So he comes home drunk, starts a fight with this poor kid. But, I mean, this guy, Dante, antagonizes him by mentioning his daughter. So, of course, he beats him about the face. Dad gets kicked out. All of this is just a giant setup. Spliced in between, we have stories of Ricky Toledo. Now, she is venturing across the country, just trying to make her way to find Dante. She wants to kill this guy. And along the way, she's getting into her own little ventures in trouble with the law. Here she is, stealing a cheeseburger from a restaurant, and you know, she realizes she's in it for the long haul, so she might as well just go in and just kind of rob the place. She tries to rob the patrons. Everything goes horribly wrong, and she ends up running out crying because she's not a bad person. She's just in a bad way. Her brain is kind of tweaked. And then we fast forward again, or we rewind again back to her 15-year-old self. Dante coming back. Her dog loves him, so they are all falling in love with this kid. But it's just not going to end well for any of them. This is a great story. It's really building up the intrigue, the suspense. I'm having a lot of fun with this. And like I said, the Laphams are a master storyteller at this kind of story. It is really worth picking up. And that is Lodger #2. And now, coming out of Image Comics this week, and from Miller World, we have Prodigy #1. Image Comics has a lot of good #1 issues this week. I think I'm going to go over most of them here. Already did... Oh, actually, I haven't even gotten to the rest yet. We will, though. All right, so Prodigy #1 here. Mark Miller, another excellent storyteller. You cannot pass this up. This is really good. Now, the story started out a little on the slow side. We have our little hero here, and his name is Edison Crane. Here he is being worshipped for being a masterful polo player at his private school that he's attending right now. And he's in school with an older group of kids who end up beating him up because they feel like he humiliated them. Now, what they don't know about this kid is that he learns everything very, very fast. He goes home and he studies every Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee, Jean-Claude Van Damme, and every other martial arts film he can get his hands on, and learns martial arts overnight, and goes back to the school and beats the snot out of these poor kids. Well, I mean, really not poor kids. They kind of deserve it. So that was very cool. And this is the first inkling at this kid being amazing. Next thing, he's performing open heart surgery on one of his friends. You know, there is just something completely miraculous and special about this kid. Fast forward, he's older now, still completely excited about life and curious about everything in the world. He is solving the world's problems. He is doing everything he possibly can. This guy is 100% absolutely perfect at everything. Governments come to him and ask him to solve their problems that they're having, and he does these weird stunts. He takes requests. And this kid, who challenged him to jump the Grand Canyon on a motorcycle without a parachute, with his body on fire and losing the bike halfway. And you know what? He doesn't. I mean, he did it just because a kid requested it. So he gets these little messages throughout the day where people just request stuff of him. So he gets another request where in Australia they are investigating a series of weird materializations. And I wasn't quite sure what this meant, and he was very intrigued by this, so he goes, and this is what they mean. So we have this poor soul right here, and all of a sudden, where he was standing, a strange car materializes. And they always have an odd burnt up animal inside, whether it be a dog, a cat, or a mouse. And there are so many of these things that have just popped up out of nowhere. And they have license plates in numbers and serial numbers that don't exist. Their license plates are for states that aren't here. And then they find this one weird, giant, almost like alien spaceship. He comes to the conclusion that these vehicles are coming from an alternate timeline, because some of them are piloted by humans, but they always show up dead. And it's the beginning of an invasion. So here we have the CIA hopping in on him, and they tell him he is absolutely right. They came to the same conclusion, that there is an invasion happening. This was a really, really good story. I had a lot of fun. Mark Miller is known for just throwing all kinds of weird crap at you, so this is really cool. It's always fun seeing what comes out of his brain. Like I said, the first part of the story, laying down his backstory, was a little on the slow side, but still kind of cool to see where he came from. Totally worth sticking it out. I'm very, very excited to see where this goes. Huge thumbs up from me this week. And over at DC Comics, we have Red Hood Outlaw #29. Now, if you follow my weekly reviews at all, everybody out there knows I love this Red Hood series. Scott Lobdell's writing is absolutely amazing. Here's a beautiful variant cover for this book this week. I'm missing the Dexter Soy artwork, though. I really, really miss it. I love that man's artwork. So when last we left our anti-hero, he was in the small town of Appleton being attacked by everything that moved. Batwoman popped up and actually helped him, saved his butt, because he's being attacked by these weird Hulk-like creatures that apparently she has discovered are created from Solomon Grundy DNA. Also, although they are very half robotic, so he has no problems like sticking pokers through their necks and things like that. So you see a lot of dismemberment and limbs coming apart and stuff in this book. So we have a lot of these battles going on where they're fighting these giant creatures. And they come up with a plan, but they really don't tell you what the plan is, which is, kind of cool. It's a whole, show, don't tell sort of thing. They're fighting these creatures, and this entire town is being overrun by a cabal, a criminal cabal called the Underlife. And I'm not even sure why they're in this town. They never really explain that. Just that he knows they're there. They're running drugs through here. I think Roy has discovered that back before he died. And he meets up with the pie lady. She actually made him pie in the last issue. And it turns out she's also one of these weird robotic things as well. And she runs 3 states, she said. 3 different state territories. Of course, he's there to take her down. As you can see, she is a robot as well. And he's playing the distraction, he came to tell her. Because she has the entire town's children population captured. They're actually hidden in fields, in containers and stuff. And he had Batwoman go and set them free while he got rid of this thing. It's really a fun story. I don't think it progressed the whole Underlife thing enough, but it did end out the entire Appleton story. But in all honesty, I don't know why the whole Appleton story was here, other than just something to do to team him up with Batwoman for a short period of time. But it was an okay read, so I can't give it a full thumbs up, but it's definitely not a thumbs down. If you're already reading it, I would say pick it up. It is going to tie into a much larger story for the next couple months. So, this one's kind of on the fence this week. And then we have Road of the Dead, issue number 2, Highway to Hell. This book is a lot of fun. I had no idea what to expect from this book in the last issue. I bought it on a whim. I figured it might be a fun read, and it really, really was. Now, this is not your typical zombie story, even though it has a lot of the guts and the gore of a zombie story. Now, what we have is a scientist. Her name is Dr. Harriet Jane. Now, Harriet Jane is humanity's last hope for a cure to the zombie virus. So she is trying to make it to a lab with some other CDC members and things like that to work on a cure. And she announced that it's possible she may be able to solve this. Well, some dumbass reporter goes on TV and announces that there is a cure. Definite, positive, there is a cure. So now she has the rest of humanity that is left alive trying to track her down. They want her. Everybody is trying to get the cure for themselves, which adds a complete interesting twist on this. And we have this entire group that is protecting her. And they are trying to keep her safe. As you saw there was this biker gang that had stopped in the last issue. There were just a bunch of normal, housewives and businessmen who were trying to get her. And they will kill everybody in their way because everyone is desperate. Everybody wants the cure for this. This was a lot of fun. You see, like I said, a lot of action, a lot of good story going on here. It has some great humor behind it. One of the best things you see is the human aspect of the story and their interactions. Everybody is really kind of over the top, almost cartoonish to a point, which really adds to this. We have poor old Jake here, who was bitten, and he is thinking he is going to die. She does have a prototype cure, but she said she's a long way off from actually testing it, and he begs her. So she does inject him with this cure. It doesn't stop. He still turns. But even when he turned, he still had the presence of mind to kill himself. He didn't want to kill them. He didn't want to have them kill him. So they all see this as a success, where she's almost there. Because her cure is supposed to be able to transition the dead completely back, or give them their sanity at least. So this was a really interesting aspect. I loved this scene here. So we have all the guys sitting down getting drunk, and this dude is telling the story about his Red Rocket 67 Pontiac Le Mans ragtop, and she is now dead from this whole excursion, and how he's put 351,000 miles in this car, and it's been everywhere. And like I said, they are all drunk. And one of the military guys is like, damn car deserves a Viking funeral. So what do? They give this car a Viking funeral. They even put a dead guy in there because it needs a servant in Valhalla. I love this. This was so awesome. So the doctor wakes up and she's like, you guys are idiots. And they're like, no, we're just drunk. And she's like, well, let's share. And then everybody gets wasted. I love this last panel because once they wake up, they realized they are surrounded by the dead. So much fun. I love that. Really, who would expect a Viking funeral for a car in the middle of the zombie apocalypse? It really doesn't get much better than that. The story is good fun, great read. I'm loving the characters. Dialogue is excellent. Artwork is amazing. It's just well-rounded and really good. And sticking with IDW this week, we have Star Trek vs. Transformers #3. Now this book here is just filled with all kinds of nostalgia for me. This pairs up the 1980s Transformers, Generation 1 Transformers, with the 1980s Star Trek cartoon series, which I used to watch on Nickelodeon back in the day. Man, it was so much fun. So this is just like all kinds of coolness right here. It has a whole bunch of Easter eggs that throw back to both series, which is a lot of fun. It even throws in some references to the movies and stuff that had happened. What we have is that the Autobots, during World War III, the Autobots just left the planet. They figured they were done with humans. They won't stop their conflict, so they were just gone. They didn't want to take sides during World War III. And at this point is when the humans on Earth had discovered warp technology directly afterwards. So you fast forward, a couple thousand years or whatever, and you have the Enterprise out in space, and you have them refinding the Autobots and the Decepticons. It was really cool. I like that little twist. So we have the Decepticons who are teaming up with the Klingons, and these are the 1980s Klingons without all the brow ridges and stuff. They just have weird eyebrows and mustaches. And you have, of course, the Enterprise teaming up with the Autobots. So look at this. The Autobots could actually merge Captain Kirk's brain with the Enterprise, so that way it can force its way out and save the day. A lot of fun. So we have the Klingons showing up here, and their bird of prey transforms into Trypticon. That is just amazing. I couldn't believe that when I saw it. It's a lot of fun, a lot of action. Here we have Kirk using Cybertronian technology to be able to almost merge with the Enterprise. And it will do everything he says. So, like I said, this entire issue here, a lot of action, back and forth, people fighting, doing their thing. They're trying to protect these miners on this planet. And just at the very last minute, when they think they are going to lose to Trypticon, we see Kirk pushing the limits of the Enterprise. And yes, you are seeing this correct. The Enterprise is a Transformer. And his name is the Fortress Tiberius. That was just this whole book was worth reading just for this panel right here. Right there. Look at that. We're rewriting Transformer and Star Trek history here, folks. Although this book probably isn't canon, I still want it to be, because man, look at that. The Enterprise is a Transformer, and it's a pretty badass Transformer too. Loving it. Having a blast with this book. I will continue. There's only 2 issues left. It's only going to be a 5-issue mini. So I'm very excited to read the rest of it. Huge thumbs up. And flipping over to Dark Horse Comics, we have Sword Daughter #4. I was waiting for this book to come out. It took a little break for a few months or so, but man, I was really excited for it. This book has been a really, really good read. Now, it is kind of more on the wordy side, so you really have to pay attention while you're reading it. I love this character. This is Elsbeth right here, who I'm assuming is the Sword Daughter. Now we have Elsbeth and her father, Dag. When she was younger, a group of Vikings or weird warriors came to her village, and they're called the 40 Swords, burnt her village to the ground, and killed her mother, and they are out for revenge. In the first 3 issues, they were hunting down the 40 Swords. They killed a bunch of them. Now they are sort of on the run while still trying to pick off the ones they can. They're buying safe passage. Here we have some 40 Swords right here, trying to buy information of where they're at, and they are actually under the hold of this ship hiding out. Really cool, the captain, though, who will not turn them over. I loved that part. He actually returned their money, and he's like, no, here you go. You won't find him on this ship. Loved that. So they end up in this little village in Morsugar, Bone Marrow Sucking, which is weird. I like that name. going to give them a free passage or a safe haven for the winter time. They're trading a 40 swords sword. I guess these are pretty valuable. And they are hiding out here. Now, while this entire story is being told, we keep fast forwarding to an older Elsbeth, where we saw, I believe it was at the end of issue number 3, where her father is captured and she's just cutting her way through the opponents, trying to get to her father to save him. So that was really, I love this right here. Here she is taking on these soldiers, and then this whole page over here, just this one panel, is nothing but the white snow and then the blood splattered all over the trees. Absolutely amazing. Just the little details like that in this book are amazing. Now, here is her father telling her that there is a safe place for her to go if she ever needs to, but she has to speak a phrase. Now, she has never spoken a word yet as a child. She does speak when she gets older. And her father tells her that this phrase is folded metal. And it gives her this whole explanation of how folding metal makes swords stronger. They will bend, they won't break, which I thought was actually kind of cool. Now here they are traversing through the wilderness, and then they bounce forward again to her in the future. And they have in Rus, which is supposed to be Viking Russia at the time. And here she is with this little fox, and she's releasing it because it reminded of hers when she was a child. And then they bounce back to her being a child again, where she's supposed to be going to this refuge where she's safe. And these people at the refuge are asking her for the password. But she's very prideful and very angry, so she just kind of draws her swords and then grabs it and runs away. Still, it's a really, really interesting concept. I do love this a lot. And then they show her here at the very end, she's going to find her father. She's talking about where the prisons are at, and she's going to go get him. I have a feeling it's going to get very bloody very soon again. She really is a force to be reckoned with in this series. I'm loving it. Like I said, it is a very wordy book, so it is a little hard to read, but totally worth it to stick with it. It's a great, great read. And the last book of the week, Die number 1. I was waiting for this book to come out. This book is right up my alley. Absolutely loved the premise behind this story. And wow, just look at this cover. Absolutely beautiful Stephanie Hans cover, and the entire book is artwork by Stephanie Hans. So we bounce back to 1991, and we have our friend, I believe his name is Dominic, taking his younger sister Angela to their friend Solomon's house. Now they are all kind of avid role players. His friend Solomon, which is this kid right here in the middle, has created his own role-playing game for them. And he created it for his friend Dominic for his 16th birthday. So they are all getting together to play this game. And he's explaining to them that this just isn't any other role-playing game. This is serious, adult role-playing game. And he pulls out this amazing set of dice. And he wants to know about each of their characters. And each one goes through and explains how one wants to be a cyberpunk. One wants to be a diplomat with teeth. And, all kinds of weird stuff. And he hands each one a die. Anywhere from a 4-sided up through the 12-sided. And he keeps the D20 for himself. And then just as they start playing, and, the reason the book is called Die is because they each have a single die. So I thought that was really kind of interesting, too. 2 hours later, Solomon's mother doesn't hear anything, so she ventures upstairs and he's gone. Gone. No idea. All the kids have just absolutely 100% disappeared. They show up 2 years later, standing in the middle of a road. Solomon is still gone. Only 5 return. And Dominic's sister Angela is missing her arm. And when they were asked where they've been, what happened to them, they tell them they can't say. Fast forward 25 years, and the stories of this still haunt everyone. Here is Solomon's mother still going to Dominic's house, asking her, where is her son? That somebody has to know where her son is at. So everyone is trying to get back with their lives. Angela here still has no arm, as you can see. And then it's Dominic's birthday, and there's a package waiting for him at the restaurant. He has no idea how it got there. The bartender has no idea how it got there. And when he opens it, it's Solomon's D20 covered in blood. Love that. Absolutely love that. It's amazing. So he gets all of his friends together and he tells them we have to decide as a group how we are going to handle this, because his first inclination was to destroy the D20. So once they all talk about it and they're trying to decide if they should destroy it, they don't know what to do with it, it starts glowing. And before you know it, it seems like it's sucking them into something. And then they are in this strange other world as their role-playing characters. I was just in shock when I saw this. This is absolutely amazing. This is why Angela has no arm. She wanted to be a cyberpunk, and she actually has a cybernetic arm in this world. So when she came back, she didn't have one. Love it. Absolutely love this. So again, they're like, what are we going to do? We know how to get out of here. Let's play this game. Let's get done. And they are wondering if Solomon is still here. They don't know if he's dead. And there was a character called the Game Master that they had to play against and beat. And then before they realize it, Solomon shows up and he tells them that he's alive and he's defeated the Game Master. And he resisted and he escaped and he killed him and he became the Game Master and took the Game Master's die. Look at that. He's got 2 D20s for his eyes. And he says, you're not leaving until you finish the game. So apparently Solomon has gone bad in the last 20 years or so since he's been alone in this place. I was blown away by this story. This was so good. I had such a great time with it. And, you know, I love this book so much. I bought all 3 covers. There are 2 different variants, and then there's a virgin variant that is just, it's the same cover here, just with no trade on it. So that's awesome. Huge thumbs up for me. All right, those are our books for the week. Let's do a quick recap. First up, Crowded number 5 from Image Comics. This book is a lot of fun. I see a lot of potential. And like I said, it's been optioned, so you might want to grab the first couple issues just for spec's sake. And while you have them in your hand, give them a read. You might enjoy it. The next book is Doomsday Clock number 8. You know what? I prefer that variant cover better. There we go. I like that cover. It is creepy cool. I love it. This book is a little slow in the start. I love the ending. So, thumbs up. And then we have Lodger number 2 from IDW, Black Crown. Anything Lapham's is going to be amazing. So just start picking it up. It's only 2 issues in. They're really easy to find. Prodigy number 1 from Image Comics. This is a Mark Millar story. Now, I love Mark Millar stories. They usually have this giant build-up, and the last issue usually falls flat. I'm hoping that it's not the case with this book because I'm really, really enjoying it. And then we have Red Hood Outlaw number 25, or 29, sorry. Look at this beautiful, beautiful cover. Oh, I love it. Good story. I would pick it up just because it fills in the whole Underlife thing, but it is kind of a small arc that's a little weird. You might be able to skip it, but, you know, I have fun with Red Hood. Road to the Dead number 2. This book is just fun. Completely new take on the zombie genre. I mean, it's not just, oh, let's go smash some zombies. No, this is actually a little, I don't know, it's almost like a holy quest sort of thing. It's the only way to put it. Thumbs up. I love it. And then we have Star Trek vs. Transformers number 3. Giant nostalgia, so this is a big thumbs up from my part. Sword Daughter number 4 from Dark Horse Comics. Love the story. Love it. It is, like I said, it is a little wordy. It's a little long, but totally worth the read. I like it a lot. And our last book for the week is, come on, you can do it, Die number 1. Love this story. Right here, this is probably my pick of the week for story, and this is my pick of the week for cover. All 3 of the covers for this book are absolutely gorgeous. I think I like the variant a little bit better. I need to find that variant cover so I can show it to you. Give me 1 second here. All right, so this here is cover 1A. Here is the Virgin variant. Oh, it's just, I love the way it just kicked into the dark, as you can see. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful book. And then here is cover 1B. And this is Angela in her whole cyberpunk form. It's really cool. It looks like each one of the issues is going to feature a different kid and their alter on the cover. Love it. I really can't tell you which one of these covers I love most. These are all beautiful. These are all tied for cover of the week for me. Gorgeous, gorgeous books. Love it. So, those are my books for the week, people. And these are my opinions. Your mileage may vary. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching and listening. You are awesome. I love all my current subscribers. You guys are amazing. Thank you for the comments, the likes, the whole 9 yards. Make sure you share this video. Get the word out that Comic Vantage is awesome. Remember that. Comic Vantage is awesome. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the little CV down in the bottom right-hand corner and that bell notification icon up top. Lets you know when I got all the cool stuff coming out. And yeah, like always, thank you guys so much for watching and take it easy.